keep living the adventure. Axis of Awesome. What's up, adventurers? Welcome to Who's in the Shop. Tonight, I've got an awesome guest for you guys. He is one of the best photo story makers in the game, an amazing channel. You all know who he is. He's one of our favorite people, one of the founding members of the Axis of Awesome, Mr. Adam. Steadam, what's up, brother?
What's going on, Jeff?
How's it going, man?
Good.
Welcome to Who's in the Shop, dude.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah, this is great. You were my very first live guest, so it's fitting that we'll end the year with you being my second live guest.
Nice.
Are you got a Diet Coke for tonight?
You know,
I'm having bourbon tonight for you bourbon people out there. It's a I.W. Harper. It's a 15-year aged bourbon whiskey from Kentucky. It's actually pretty good.
Nice.
I paid a little bit of money for it earlier this year to celebrate paying my house off, and I still have the bottle, obviously, because I don't drink much of that. It's too expensive. But anyways, man,
a little bit goes a long way.
100%. I've just been saving the whiskey for the live streams I do. And speaking of, I think we need to give a big shout out to Largo at Largo's Lair for all the cool stuff he's done for us when it came to our photo story last few weeks. I mean, what a great dude Largo is. And I really appreciate him a ton. I know you do as well.
Jim and Will both. Yeah, those are great guys.
Yep. That dynamic
I love
duo.
everything they do. And I appreciate everything they've done.
Yep. And it's funny when we go on their channels and you see the production value, and then you're like, it's like, shit, this guy
makes my stuff. I feel like that.
Yeah. He likes to claim that he doesn't know a lot, but he's so humble about that. He is super, super funny about that. But I had a good time on his thing the other night. He invited me on, like the recap and then the future of 2024. It was really, really fun. You need to get on there one of these days, have get on there and shoot the crap about the state of the toy industry and stuff. Because I know you have been a pretty big critic of a lot of that stuff along with me.
Well, I know you just did an infinite playlist with him.
I did.
And I'm going to be doing one with him, so I'm looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw your playlist and it's super dope, man. It's super rad. You got your Kiss shirt on? You have your Kiss shirt on tonight? There we go.
Vintage, signed by all 4 members.
All 4 members. I'm wearing my Aboth black metal shirt tonight by awesome English artist Simon Beasley. There he is right there. Theseus. And that thing looks awesome.
Yeah, he worked out really well. I was I had that figure, and it's a Jax figure, and it's like, what am I going to do with this guy? It's like, he's really cool. I love the scale of him.
Right.
And I know when we were doing, the infant stages of Time Phantoms, like, you know what? I think I want to do this. And then you sent me a picture of the guy in that band. It's like, yeah, that's it. The face makeup, it was perfect.
Yeah. Now, am I right? That figure you used in that really super cool photo story that you did up in the mountains, right?
Yes, my Arctic one.
Yeah,
he was a Native American. For survival.
He was a Native American, right? Was he like a Native American ghost of some kind?
Yeah,
dude, that was a great one too. By the way, I think
I was, living in the desert is like, and I see you guys like doing snow stories. And I really don't like the snow, but it's like I was dying to do a nice Arctic, story. So me and my wife and her son, he came in for a visit. We took a long weekend up to Flagstaff, and they happened to have some snow. I took all my stuff with me just in case.
Yeah,
worked out.
Great story. Yeah, it worked out great. Other than you losing.
Oh my god! Vintage sled. Vintage Huskies.
Anybody who's not familiar with that, tell them real quick what happened, because it is a cautionary tale about going out to do photo shoots.
Yes. So we're at our hotel, and it's kind of back in the woods. great place for photo stories. So I'm out there. I've got my Joe. I've got my vintage sled, vintage Huskies, the vintage Arctic containers, snowshoes. I've got it all bound up. Looks nice. Doing my shots, and I got distracted because a man and his son saw me, and they were just fascinated with what I was doing.
Right.
He goes, "Man, I had one of those when I was growing up." So he goes, "Do you mind if we watch?" I said, "No." So they were watching. We was talking. I was taking some photos, and I finished up. I thought I had packed everything back in the Jeep, only to come find out that somewhere buried in the snow up in Flagstaff is a vintage sled, Huskies, and Arctic boxes and snowshoes. And I didn't even realize it until we got back into Phoenix.
Yeah. I think you told me that because you texted all that to me at the time, and I was like, I felt sick. I'm like, oh my God, dude.
I know it was hard. It was heartbreaking.
Yeah. After that happened, I actually, when I go out to do something, because I go sometimes into the deep woods, kind of a little bit, not super deep. I mean, like where Ed at Action Figure lives up in the Adirondacks. I'm not going, but I go like, maybe, I don't know, 300-400 feet deep into the woods and stuff. And I always try to make sure I have everything, back when I was doing the Savage Sasquatch, the very first time I did it for Facebook, I had a rifle I had made for that. And I took it out to the woods, and it didn't even make it in the shot. And I thought, I got back, got everything unloaded, and I couldn't find that damn rifle. And I'm like, shit, where's that rifle at? And I got paranoid, so I drove 25 minutes back out to the country, went back to exactly where I did the scene, couldn't find the rifle. Went through everything at the time. My wife, she was my girlfriend at the time. She went with me out there. We were looking around where it couldn't find it. And I was like, God, I can't believe I lost that. Like 2 days later, I found it in my shirt. It was in my shirt pocket. I'm like, oh. I was happy, but also felt like an idiot, the whole time. But
when I'm doing a photo shoot, I just kind of haphazardly will throw stuff in a box or a small tote. Like I might need that. I might need this. And just throw stuff in. But now I kind of inventory every piece that I'm taking because I don't lose anything. I was doing one just in our yard, and I had a vintage 38, came out of the Land Adventures holster. I brought everything back in. It's like, man, the pistol's gone. Looked and looked and looked and looked, couldn't find it. A year later, I'm out in the yard, and do I not find it?
Really?
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. I mean, they're not very big.
No.
It looked just as fine as it did the day I lost it.
No kid. Well, yeah, it's pretty arid there, so you're not having just the sun beating down on it all day is about it, right?
Yeah.
Dang, dude. Now,
I know, right? What's the odds of finding that?
That photo story you did with I think it was a World of Warcraft figure is what that guy is, right? Originally? That Ossosis figure. So
yeah.
That one you did up in the mountains, that was probably one of the first, I think, photo stories I can remember of yours where you really used some newer type of special effects to do it. Because I think you had a couple scenes where he like transmutated or kind of teleported like a ghost type thing. And I remember seeing that for the first time going, damn, that was really, really cool. That was like a new thing that I had never done in a photo story. And that was the cool new thing that you did. And I think that's one of the coolest things about I don't know how many photo stories you've done now. Is it probably, is it 30?
Yeah. About 30. So
so for all you guys out there watching who maybe aren't familiar with Adam's photo stories, hopefully I think everybody in the chats, almost all the guys are, but for anybody new, your progression from where you started to where you're at now is one of the coolest things to see. And I know you don't like your very first one, the Skinwalker one at all, but the Skinwalker one, I really love it because I mean, that was like your jumping off point, that was your gateway into it. And I think it's a great story, But to go back, like anybody who wants to go back, Adam has a playlist on his channel, G.I. Joe Lost Chronicles. And when this airs, I'll put a link to your channel and everything. But when you go back through Adam's whole catalog and watch all of his videos in chronological order, like all your videos. And it's just amazing to see the progression. And then when you come to the newest one, it's just, that was great.
Yeah, you know? It's totally night and day. I mean,
it is.
I've learned so much. Being from you, I mean, like I said, this whole thing started from one of your photo stories, Creature from the Doom Lagoon.
Doom Lagoon, man.
And it's like I didn't know what I was doing, but you know, you learn by trial and error.
Right.
Like that worked. Well, that didn't work so much.
Right.
But yeah, you know, it is fun to see the progression. It's like, yeah, you know, now I put my photo stories up against anybody's.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, your photo stories are awesome, dude. I mean, they're just like, they're so clean. The special effects are great. The figures look great. And you know, we were talking about that, you know, on that live stream we did with Will and Largo about how I think that's what's really cool about our group of the Axis of Awesome. You know, you got Pat who does stop motion stuff. You got Cody who does some stop motion stuff. You've got Tom who does a stop motion comedy show. You've got Matt's Creative who does photos. You've got Pete. Pete's kind of toyed a little bit at the Skull Review when he has time to make the stuff he's done is really cool. And then you got you and I, and I apologize if I missed anybody, but we have a group. It's almost like a group of creators and filmmakers in a way, right? Like a rat pack for creativity. Yep. And it is cool. Like Will pointed out, like we're just out having fun with our stuff. And I know a lot of people in the community just like to buy their stuff and put it on the shelves and display it nicely. Some guys like to take really high quality diorama photographs, which is all cool to me. But I like you, I like to get out in the weeds and play.
Yeah.
You do a great job.
Oh, well, no, well, you do too, man. I appreciate that. Like I said, you know, I admire guys who, you know, keep stuff in a box, or, you know, they're completist, you know, and they don't really like to play with their stuff. But that's not me. It's like, and it's funny because I do have some higher end, like vintage Joes and stuff, but I call them my stunt Joes.
Right.
I'll get one that's very similar, that's a little bit rougher shape, and he'll do all the, you know, all the action stuff that gets him dirty or rough.
Right. Yeah, that's true. And that's a good point. You just brought that up. Like a lot of us in the community, our little community, have multiples of the same figure. And everybody's like, why do you have, like, in my case, like, why do you have like 20 Land Adventurers? I'm like, well, it all looks the same. And I can take 3 different Land Adventures that look almost exactly the same, dress them in different outfits, and go out in a photo story, and not have to change clothes.
Right.
Right. And I think that's one of the benefits of the 1/6 scale line. If you're doing stuff like we're doing, right?
Oh yeah.
You know, and I think it's the funnest and best scale. But that's my opinion. And I know you share that.
It is absolutely the best scale. It's just they photograph so well. They almost look lifelike.
Yep.
If you do it right, the equipment, the clothing, like you said, you can have 2 or 3 Joes that look almost the same, and you're doing a photo story, but they're each one. Well, the Joe is going to need different equipment, different uniforms at different times. You go ahead and dress them that way, and they're ready to go. You're not sitting there fumbling, trying to interchange clothes, equipment. It's like boom, 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 ready to go out of the box.
Right. Yeah. That's 100% true. So that brings me to this. Like, so let's talk about Orbitron. So you and I, you tell me, do you remember when you approached me about doing the photo story? Like, you refreshed my memory on that.
I did. It was, you know, we had a great success with Quantum Conspiracy, which was at the time was the greatest photo story. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Doing it with you because, I think we just motivate each other to do better and just, you know, to push outside the box. But it was the first of the year, and I knew I wanted to do another one. And for some reason, I contacted you and I said, hey, because I knew you had done
Revenge of the
photo
Super
story
Gorilla.
with your Super Joes with the Super Gorilla.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, man, that would be really cool to do, a Super Joe photo story, because I had made some, based on your design.
Right.
And you said, yeah, that's great. And then you came back with a storyline, and it's like, yeah, that's really cool. And we just kept building, and the story continued to expand. It was just, I don't even want to call it a photo story. It's a photo movie. I
Yeah,
mean, you
it
take
is
mine
kinda.
and yours, it's almost an hour of entertainment.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about a lot of our photo stories. It's almost it's a cool movie. It's a great comic story.
It is.
It's a toy commercial in some cases for some of the boutique toy companies and maybe some of the major toy companies. And it's also just like all around entertainment for a lot of people to sit
Yeah.
down and watch it. And I do remember, yeah, you approached me, and I think we called each other, or you called me one night. We talked about it. We kind of laid it all out, and I
Yep.
think we talked about Kiss
Yeah,
being
you
in
brought
that.
it up.
Yeah, I
Hey,
brought Kiss
because you asked me, you said, do you have the Kiss Mego
Mego
figure?
figures. Yeah,
And I said, well, I have them in the 8-inch, but I don't have them in the 12-inch.
yeah,
I said, but you said that would that would be great. I said, yeah, it would be. I said it'd be great if they were aliens from another world. And you said, yeah, that'd be great. So I went out and I found them on eBay, and
yep,
it was just, it was awesome. Because once you mentioned Kiss, because I've been a member of Kiss Army probably since 1977.
oh,
But
dope.
I knew it would be cool. But in my mind, I already knew that I kind of wanted it to be like the heavy metal movie or like a rock opera. That was what was in my mind. I thought, this is gonna be cool. In your face music, in your face action. I thought it'd be a lot of fun. I wasn't quite sure how it was going to end,
Yep,
because it took me, I worked on this thing all year. And,
yeah, you did.
and I don't want to say it took me all year, but it was such a busy, crazy year.
Yep,
I got to work on it maybe an hour here,
yep,
maybe 30 minutes here. So I guess all in all, I probably had maybe 3.5 weeks total
yep.
in it, but it seemed like it just took forever.
Yeah, and you had weather delays. You had some health stuff.
Yeah.
You had a lot of different stuff going on, and it's pretty awesome how you were able to turn out such a badass story with all the really cool special effects. And I mean, adding the Superman. I remember when you told me you were going to add Superman. I'm like, oh yeah, that's gonna be like, I mean, why not, right?
Well, and that came at the very last thing. It's like, I saw that figure. I was like, hey, Super Joe's Superman.
Yeah.
I thought, you know what? I just want to throw in something that nobody's expecting.
Yeah, dude, if you're making an ice cream sundae and you open the fridge and you've got whipped cream, you're like, don't mind if I do. Got chocolate syrup? Don't mind if I do. Cherries? Don't mind if I do. Let's throw Superman in there. And it's like, oh shit, here comes Superman. And you bought that figure. And now, were you going to add Superman before you bought that figure or after?
No, it didn't even cross my mind. I happened to come across that figure, and it was a good price. It's like, that's pretty cool. And then once I got it, I was really impressed with it. The articulation, just the uniform, everything was just, it looked so good. And I did a few photos with it, and it photographed so well. And I'm thinking, I think I'm going to throw that in the Time Phantom,
Yeah.
because I thought, well, you know what? Kiss is gonna need the help of Super Joe. And then I kind of wanted to have a twist where, okay, Obertron's getting the best of Super Joe, and he's gonna need a little help. And who better than Superman?
Yeah.
And I kind of left it open. If you notice that, Super Joe says it's time to call in a favor.
Yeah.
So what kind of favor did Superman owe Super Joe?
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna have
that may be a follow-up little photo story.
And then you picked an all-American hero to voice that as well.
Yes.
Yep. The great Pat Perry from
Absolutely.
Elite Action Joe Studios was the voice
knocked it
of
out of the
Superman.
park.
He did. It was great when he's like, a little busy saving the world, Joe.
And I was writing the lines. I'm thinking, I need something kind of funny to say, but serious too. And I'm thinking, what would Superman say? I said,
Yeah.
I'm just a little busy saving the world.
Pat and Jay voiced my Kiss characters too. They did a great job with that, So I was going to tell everybody. So how I came up with Kiss. So I get to work. I get to work at like probably 6 every morning. Then when I get situated at work and get all my stuff ready, get logged in, start my day, make coffee. Everybody else starts to get to work because everybody comes to work at kind of different times, And I got a buddy at work and we talk music around the coffee pot every once in a while. And we talk about 70s and 80s rock quite a bit. And we were talking about Kiss. For some reason, we always come back to Kiss. But we talked about Kiss that morning and laughed about a bunch of stuff. And then I remembered Kiss. Was it Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park or Kiss?
Yeah.
That terrible movie. So
Terrible.
I decided to get on there and I decided to watch it or listen to it one day while I was at work. So I was listening to it on my headphones while I was, drawing up details. And I'd look down every once in a while and I'd start laughing. And I'm like, holy shit. Wouldn't it be cool if Kiss was in our photo story? And then,
brilliant.
I told you about it. Then you went and just ran with it. And that's Gene in that terrible movie never talked. He just growled.
Right.
So that's why in mine, Gene just growls.
Right.
And it's such a terrible movie. But
it is, but it's kind of a classic too. And after you had mentioned that, I went back a few times and kind of watched it.
You did.
I drew inspiration from a few things, but it's like, I'm thinking, okay, this is a terrible movie.
Yeah.
But if me and Jeff got our hands on it, I think we could really turn it into something cool.
Oh my God. That or we'd be drug addicts, one or the other. If we were filming that movie, I'm like, just reading about that movie, I'm like, oh my God.
But when you mention Kiss for the first time, it's like, dude, my mind exploded. It's like, yes. I said, and I thought, okay, they're aliens from another world. They're coming down. They're going to help Joe. And I went out immediately on eBay. I found it. Now, these were reproduction Kiss figures.
Right.
I wanted to get the original 1977 Migos, but oh my God, the price is anywhere from $750 to $1,200 for the set.
Wild.
I couldn't do it.
I don't know anybody who owns all those, but yeah, they've been just a wild deal. But those figures worked out great. They were cool. I messed with them a little bit, obviously, when you sent them to me. And
and you repaired the
Gene's
claws.
horns. Yeah.
The horns. And you know what? I've had that figure since midsummer. Never even noticed they were missing until
they were just cut off. And I don't know why they cut them off, but I took some mill putt. I put like a little screw in there, and then I just molded a nice new like a little horn claw there, and I tried to match the paint up best I could too.
Jeff, it's perfect. It looks like it came with the figure. I mean, you did an amazing job on those.
Thanks. I did that to send back to you guys. So with this, I know you were really excited when we started making this because you were going to do the Buzz Lightyear super suit, and you're kind of similar to what, Sarge. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, this is great.
Sergeant Soldier I think Sergeant Soldier was the very first guy to do those because he sent me a bunch of pictures of those. And I think we've all had a run on those now since he did that.
Oh, yeah. That was genius. And that was a great idea on his part. And when I actually got one of these Zerg, General Zerg figures, man, they're so versatile. They're so easy to work with, and they're a great figure.
100%. So how did you do that one? How did you make that custom?
Okay, so I mean, it didn't really do a lot to it. I just the head popped right off, and you're left with this round neck post, and by coincidence, it fits a vintage Joe head perfectly. I mean, it just popped right on. And I thought, well, and that custom figure you did, I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, the Firestar 1?
Firestar 1.
Right.
And you did that vinyl paint?
Yeah.
So I did him in black, And I thought, well, Super Joe's it's got to have some gold or yellow on it.
Right.
So I just did the armor, the top piece, kind of to resemble the power vest that the original Super Joe had.
Right.
Did a few details on the arm pieces.
Yeah.
Did
Cotswold? Are those Cotswold on the 3D printed dog tags?
These are the 3D printed dog tags. Cool. Yeah, and I did one for Super Joe and one for the Adventure Team.
Right on.
And I did them in red, and it worked out really well. This is a great bodysuit.
It
worked out great.
What gold paint did you use on that?
This is just Rust-Oleum gold. I think it was. I think it was Sunrust something.
It looks great.
Yeah, it turned out pretty well, and it photographed real well too.
It did. It photographed real well, and it worked really good. I really enjoyed in that photo story how you. I liked Kiss's bass, which is really cool. Now, where did you film that part at? Did you do that in New York?
Where's that?
The bridge that you put Kiss's bass in, wasn't an arch culvert or like a bridge?
Oh no, that was actually, I did some of those up in Flagstaff.
Oh wow, that's cool. See, I looked at that. I'm like, damn, that doesn't look like Arizona to me. But
yeah, no, that was in Flagstaff.
No, I looked at that. I'm like, holy shit, did you do that when you went to New York? But you're talking about this guy.
Yes.
This is let me see here. There we go. This is our guy here. We'll talk about him in a minute. But yeah, for those of you guys who aren't familiar with the paint that Adam and I used, that was a VHT vinyl dye, and you can get that. I think I got mine on Amazon, but I think they're out of the black right now. But there's a ton of different colors, and it works great on plastic.
Oh yeah, it's super durable.
And bonds
it just has a really nice shine, and it just nice.
It bonds great.
Yeah.
It coats well. It doesn't run. It dries quick. It's super weird. Like when I first bought that to use, I bought it for that custom Firestar 1 because I'd watched some people do Gundam models with it, and I'm like, I'm gonna try this, and it works. It works great. There's not a lot of colors. I mean, I think there's the primary colors, but I wish they make like a silver, which works really well. I wish they made a gold, but so you made that. Let's see, what else did you just recently bought yourself an Orbitron? So I sent you an Orbitron. The KISS spaceship. Talk about that.
Okay, the base ship.
Oh man,
I want to say this is from Buzz Lightyear. But don't hold me on that. When I found it on eBay, that's how it was listed. Buzz Lightyear spaceship.
Dude, that guitar spaceship is dope.
Yeah, and I saw it. I thought, what? That looks kind of cool. This kind of looks like, a guitar. Cause I knew in my mind what I wanted to make.
Oh my god!
And I threw some paint on it, and then I just took the neck of a Guitar Hero.
I wondered if that was Guitar Hero one. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, I thought, you know what? Kiss has got to have a guitar-shaped spaceship.
Oh man,
that worked out pretty well.
Yeah, the special effects in that, when you left, in that ship and you guys started, going across the galaxy, and then the music and stuff. And that was just super awesome.
Yeah. And I tried to, with all the shots, I tried to coordinate it with the song, and, with the song, high notes, or, just boom, 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 boom. So, I really wanted to choreograph nice with that song, because I love that song. It's a nice long song. It kind of hits you in the face, and I was hoping that nobody knew that Kiss was going to be in there until
nobody knew
when that song hit. It's like, oh my god, Kiss.
Nope, I don't think anybody knew Kiss was going to be in those. They had I don't think anybody had a clue at all. They're like, what? Just reading the comments was great.
It was.
It was great. And then of course we used Orbitron, which is cool. Shout out to Gary out there for the Outer Spacemen. That's a really cool line.
I was going to ask,
simple figures.
How did you come across Orbitron? I remember you showed me, said, "Hey, this is going to be the main, villain for our movie."
I've been a fan of that line of figures since I think Four Horsemen Studios brought it back, and then it was kind of pseudo successful. But I think when they decided to move on from it, there was a gentleman, Gary, I can't remember his last name off the Schaefer, I think Gary Schaefer. He and the original creator of them went in together and basically got the rights, I think, from Four Horsemen, maybe, or something like that. I mean, I'm probably wrong on some of that, but anyways, so they started making those again, and then he started expanding the line, making 12-inch figures, making new like glow-in-the-dark other different color variants. And for those of you guys who are interested, get on the outerspaceman.com. He's got a lot of really cool stuff. He does some of the Safubi vinyl Japanese type dolls of those figures. But I came across that on Instagram. It just popped up. I started following him, and I saw that Orbitron figure, and I'm like, damn, that would be a cool villain for a Super Joe storyline. Because I got the Darkon Gore from the club, and he's already been a villain in a couple things.
Right.
And I just wanted a villain that was unique and new that nobody was going to use, Well, so I got him. Yeah, and I got him, and I think I told you about it. I showed you the pictures of him. And of course, it's 5 points articulation. He's not, I don't think it's even 5. It's probably 4.
Probably 4, yeah.
Yeah, and you're not doing anything action with him, but he's a cool looking figure.
But he films, I saw him and I loved him. It's like, okay, he's so goofy looking, he's so campy,
yeah,
he's so colorful. It's like that's perfect for Super Joe.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of want for. I don't know about you, but for my photo stories, I mean, I don't want ultra realistic. I want pulp kind of like comic book,
Yeah, I'm all about that.
I don't want anything like super. I mean, I love all the ultra realistic looking figures. They're cool, but I just want something like from when I was a kid, because we didn't have great looking figures when we were kids, and I was out in the backyard just playing with
right,
goofy looking figures, and I kind of want to keep that vibe.
Yeah,
and because I think with my stories, and I know yours as well, I'm telling a story, and I'm using the figures as just kind of a way to push the story forward.
Yeah. I'm with you. I totally love the comic book edge of that.
Yeah.
And looking back now, I can't even imagine us using any other figure than Orbitron.
No, I don't think we could have.
And I loved it so much, I went out and bought one myself.
Yeah, and I think it's awesome. And what I also loved about it is your dark droids, which are Black Manta from the Aquaman line. Like, I don't know how many of those you bought. How many of those did you buy?
Well, I ended up buying 4. I mean, just randomly at flea markets. And then Roberto, he sent me one. So I ended up with 6. And I thought, you know what? This would be a really cool droid army for Orbitron. And, and it was kind of an Easter egg throwback to the Mandalorian, with the Dark Troopers. And I thought, well, I'll call them the Dark Droids. But I thought they were cool. And then I did another Easter egg. I used the voices of Cylons from Battlestar Galactica.
Right.
Which I loved that show growing up. So, it was, to me, it worked out well. Yeah. I thought it was convincing, and I tried to do shots where it looked like there was a lot more than 6.
You did? I thought you had like 10.
Yeah.
I thought, because I know you, man. I know you'll go out and just you'll like, you said something the other night when we were doing Jim's live stream. You're like, I basically buy my stuff to make photo stories, and I was like, yeah, he probably bought 10 of those Black Manas because he's going to be using them, and that's kind of like, it was cool how your Black Manas worked, because that's kind of what I did with those 2 Henshin cyborgs that I bought, those blue box Psycom figures. I wanted them to be brand new version 2.0 dark droids, but they're so advanced. There's only like 2 of them. So it's kind of that's kind of what I was going for when I did that.
And I think it was perfect because, okay, his original droid army was defeated, so he needs an upgrade. And those guys were upgrades.
Right. While we're here, let's give a shout out to everybody who's jumped on the comments. We've got Largo. He's here tonight. Thank you, Largo, for being on. Andy and Indy, who's such a cool dude. I got to reach out. Andy's doing a really cool decal for me for my Godzilla Shogun wear right now. Thank you, Andy. Sergeant Soldier's here, as always. Pat, Elite Action Joe. Ed, Action Figures. Roberto Acevedo. They got the usual group of suspects on here, which is always fun. And if you guys want, I'm reading the comments right now as I talk to Adam. I told Adam towards the end, we can do a little Q&A if you guys want. So we'll throw some questions on there if you guys would like, and we'll try to answer them up, when we get close to the end of this thing. So yeah, I really appreciate everybody being on here tonight. I'm new to the live stream stuff. I'm using the StreamYard thanks to Ed at Action Figures. I finally figured it out, and hopefully in 2024 we can move on and maybe do a little more stuff. I don't think I'll get to Largo's level of awesomeness, but maybe I will. But
yeah, I want to give a shout out to all the guys in the AOA, everybody who helped contribute to the Time Phantom.
Go for it.
Pat, Peter from Skull Reviews made the awesome 3D printed Super Joe jetpack and helmet. Awesome.
Yeah, Peter's great.
I want to thank Roberto for sending me one of those Black Mantas. Pat, he sent me the rock and roll hands.
I wonder where you got those at.
I know he sent me those, and I'm thinking, man, how can I use? He sent me those like last year, and I'm thinking, how can I use those in a photo story? And then when you said kiss, I thought, you know what? This is going to be like an international sign of friendship between the Joes.
That was great.
Kids. And it was like, that was great. That was perfect.
That was great, man. I really loved all that stuff. So when you make your photo stories, I've always wanted to ask you, so do you start off with like a script? Like, how do you do it?
Yeah, sometimes.
What's your process?
I'll come up with an idea in my mind. Okay. I'll kind of do a quick synopsis, of what the story is going to be. But I never really have a hard, strict script that I go by. I just kind of fly by the seat of my pants. It's like, okay, this is the baseline of what the story is going to be. But I'm telling you, Jeff, by the time I get done, it's done a 180 of what I thought that it was going to be. It just takes a turn, in an opposite direction. And sometimes I'll get close to the end, and I'm not sure how the story is going to end. It's like, and sometimes I struggle with that. It's like, because the ending is almost as important as the beginning. A movie is basically, a photo story is 3 layers. You have the intro, you have the middle, and then you have the end.
Right.
To me, the end is almost the most important part, because for me, when I watch a movie, sometimes that's the last thing you remember is how the movie ended.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. I don't want to go by a real. Now with the Time Phantom, it was a little different. I did have a pretty complex script that I went by. I thought, okay, this scene, I'm going to need this equipment. I'm going to need these Joes for this scene. Okay, did that, mark it out, go to the next scene, did it, scratch it out, go to the next scene. But usually I'm not that organized.
Yeah, well, you're getting more organized, it seems like, with all that. So what's the most difficult thing for you though when you make these now? Like, what do you think is the most difficult thing?
I guess for me is I'll get all the photos, and I'll put them all in the timeline, of how they're going to be. It's getting the right audio clips, the right background music, the right ambiance background music. That for me, because it's got to be right.
Yeah.
For the frame or the photo. To me, that's kind of the hardest part. It's the most rewarding, because once you get them done, that's when the pictures come to life.
Yeah, that's 100% true. That is one of the most difficult things, I think, is trying to like move the story or set the mood with your music. Because that's what you're basically doing. I mean, we don't have actors. We got a few voiceovers. I try to minimize voiceover. I mean, I use it when I need it, but I'm like you. you got to figure the music out. And that's the music and the sounds that is layering all together, trying to like create suspense when you need to create suspense.
Yes.
Yeah, that is very difficult. Yeah.
Because that will make or break, your photos or story.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably true. That's probably what I agree. I think that's probably one of the most difficult things is just like overall editing on a grand scale. When I do it, I write a script. So I have like a prologue, act 1, act 2, act 3, epilogue almost all the time. Not all, I mean, most of the time. I write it down. I go through a scene. I go through all the scenes, just like rough them in. And then when I go out to shoot them, a lot of it changes, but I've got like a bare bones, like a bare bones framework of what I want to do. And then if I can't make it work, I'll try some other stuff and then I'll get it back. And sometimes I don't know if you do, but sometimes I've got photos in sequence, but maybe I'll shuffle them around because it works better than what I had it.
All the time. All the time. Because in your mind, you're thinking, okay, this is how the scene should go. And then once you get them in sequence, it's like, this photo would actually work better here.
Yeah.
Than it does there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many times I think I'm done. It's like, man, you know what? Something's missing. So I got to go back out, get a few extra shots, and come back.
That's why, I don't ever want to have to go back. I've had to a couple times, and if I don't go back, at the very end of mine, I had to Photoshop in the new Super Joe because I'd went out to take a photo so many times, and it just wasn't working the way I wanted it to. So I went and I just Photoshopped it, and of course I'll go ahead and show this guy out here. Let me get him close up here so everybody can see him. So here's my Super Joe that I did. Peter from the School Review had asked me if I was going to incorporate the new White Elephant Toys. Shout out to White Elephant Toys head sculpt, and I did. And it was kind of like the part of the end. Let me put his Super Joe emblem back on him. It was kind of the part of the end of the photo story. It was going to be kind of my twist at the end. Is like, here comes this brand new Super Joe. He's been brought back to life as a new guy. So, but I couldn't get that shot right. So I just kind of Photoshopped it. And I'm like, well, whatever, man, it works.
Well, what's funny is, you sent me Orbitron.
Right.
To do my photos. And then I sent Orbitron back to you, and I sent you the Kiss figures.
Yep.
And I tried to get all the shots I could possibly think of that I would need
with
Orbitron. But of course, I didn't. It's like, man, I need 2 shots. So I had to go out and buy one.
Yeah.
I didn't want to ask you for it again. It's like, I need a few. And it's like 3 shots that I needed. Just 3. But it's like, it's so important.
Yeah, but the coolest thing is you bought it, and now you're going to have it for other stuff, which is super cool, right? So you're going to be able to use him for some other stuff.
Like Orbitron's escape from the Phantom Zone.
Yeah, you need to buy. I think you're probably going to have to do yourself a White Elephant Toys Super Joe at some point now. Yeah. And you're going to have to get you a cryo tank.
Yep.
Yep. I think everybody needs to have one of those cryo tanks from Art Lab. The more I think about it, the more I love it.
I got that from Art Lab.
Yeah, that's great.
I tell you, I don't want to butt hurt nobody, but these are overpriced. I think I gave like $80 for this.
Yeah.
It's a real super pain in the butt to put together.
Yep.
But they make a great prop. And they look really nice.
Randall does a great job with those. And I know obviously he doesn't set the price, but I know. Cotswold got a little upset with me because I brought that up in a review, and I don't think they've ever forgiven me for it. But whatever. I can't help that, But I wanted being honest, just being honest with him is all I was doing,
Yeah, but I wanted to get, because we both have the radar table.
Right.
which I
Great.
thought was going to work out great because that'll make our stories blend
Yep.
very nicely.
Yep.
And I wanted to get this because this just looks like something Super Joe would have in his headquarters.
Yeah, there's a bunch of that paper stuff I'd love to get.
Yeah.
You know, that brings me to another thing I'll share real quick. And my my super box
Yes.
I did for the
I
photo
love that.
story. I got a basic builds coming to this, but this is a Randall. Randall and I message on Instagram every once in a while, and Randall sent me a prototype of that super box, and I traded him a really cool action figure for it. And Randall's a cool dude. I really like that guy. He makes some really cool and interesting stuff, and I like the super box. This version that I did, you'll see that here in a few weeks on a basic builds. But I got that specifically for this photo story.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I made this specifically for the photo story, and you know, this took me a long time to figure out. I mean, I don't think people understand, like, and I know you're like this too. When we do these, we put a lot of thought into a lot of the stuff we make, and
yeah,
I try to do a video to show how I make it. You do too, but it is a lot of work when you make one of these photo stories, because you want to make all these props to make the photo story really cool, but it takes money, creativity, and a lot of work.
It does.
You know, I mean, talk about that. You know all about that.
Oh yeah, and you said it a million times. You know, we're not the Discovery Channel. It's like you're one guy, I'm one guy. We write the script. I mean, we do all the photography. We do all the audio editing. We build all the props. We do it all.
Yep.
And it's like, and like I said, getting the right prop sometimes, the right, you know, something like this, it just sells the story. And, you know, I love building props. I think that's almost as much fun as collecting Joes.
Right.
Is building props. It's a lot of fun. It's very rewarding when there's something in your mind, well, you know, I need this, and you build it, and then you photograph it, and it really looks nice. It looks cool. You put it in your story. You throw in your audio effects. It's like, man, you're like, you know what? I made that. You know, I took something from nothing, and I did that. And I am right now. I'm talking about like Super Joe headquarters.
Right.
Pretty cool. You came up with the idea. You sent me the picture. I thought, you know what? I can duplicate that.
Right.
Or I can come close to replicating it. And that meshed great. And I wanted to tell you too, is I don't know if you did that on purpose, or because I think yours was already done, because I had asked you, you know, where did you get that picture for Super Joe headquarters? And it's at abandoned missile base in North Dakota.
Right.
And it's like, that's super cool. And I had mine. And I had the big, you know, I put the big Super Joe logo right on the side.
You did. You made it look brand new, like freshly built.
Yes, and yours looked like it was in decay.
It did.
It was awesome. And I don't know if you meant to do it that way, but it worked out perfect.
No, I did not. And it just worked out that way. And that was super cool, the way all that meshed together, like that old missile base, the missile pyramid out there. I can't remember where I found those. I was looking at pictures of bunkers for that photo story, and that popped up, and I said, "Shit, this could be like a Super Joe headquarters."
Yeah, it was perfect.
And I called it the Super Drone, and I just thought that'd be a cool name.
It's such a cool name.
It worked out so good. You know, there's a guy on here. I should give a shout out to Ed at Action Figures. He's commenting on a lot of stuff, and Ed could probably take all the photos he's done from all his 1/6 scale days and probably do a really cool photo story. He has a really cool Sasquatch figure he made. And Ed, I know you're doing a lot of the 1/12 stuff now, and you're taking awesome pictures. He made a really cool 1/12 like Stargate. It's on Instagram, and it's super dope. And he could take all his old 1/6 scale pictures and make a really cool photo story for his YouTube channel. He does a show with his son called Tales from the Crick. And it's
yes.
a really fun.
Yeah.
It's a really fun show. I've been on there once, and it's really fun.
Yeah, he's up in New York. I was right there
He
close
is.
when we were back
He
there.
is. He is.
Yeah.
He's like he's OG. Ed and I go way back, doing GI Joe stuff together, and he does a lot of really cool photos, and he still does. He's post every once in a while. He'll post an old photo he does, but
He actually he sent me something back. I want to say it was around the first of the year.
Yep.
Because I was planning on doing eventually doing like an A-team.
B.A. Baracus.
Yes, and he sent me the clothes for B.A. Baracus. And I thought, that was so cool. And I'm still going to work on that, Ed. I've been too busy doing other stuff. But that's in the future. I would love to do that. And I want to do a Magnum PI.
Oh, man, that would be a crazy crossover.
I've got the Barbie red Ferrari.
Oh,
like Tom Selleck's. So,
whoa, dude, that would be I'm gonna go ahead and throw this out there now. That'd be a great man of action. Hey, we were in Vietnam together.
Yeah,
shoot 'em up, bang bang stuff, man.
Yeah, actually, I'm kind of thinking about doing a crossover between him and Mike Power.
That'd be super dope, dude.
Yeah, but it's in the works, but that's something I want to work on. I've got so many things I want to do. It's like,
that brings me to my next question. So what is ahead for GI Joe The Lost Chronicles in 2024? Tell everybody out there what you got planned, man, because your channel you're getting close to 800 followers now.
I'm getting close. I tell you what, since the Time Phantom dropped and since all your promotion, I think I've gained like 30 or 40 subscribers. Like,
great.
Bam, that
great. That's what we want.
Yeah. I tell you, the last few months, my channel has really not exploded, but it's really has busted out, and I'm grateful to everybody who subscribes. I couldn't do it without you guys. But yeah, well, let's see. I've got a lot of just regular Adventure Team photo stories I want to do. I've got my Scooby-Doo team that I'm going to start doing photo stories with. Actually, I'm working on one right now, and that's what I filmed while we were in New York with some Scooby-Doo stuff. I've got my Johnny Quest team that I want to do. I want to continue doing my Mike Power short stories, which I really love those. I hope you guys are digging those.
Yeah, they're great.
Because I love Mike Power.
You're the
more customs and just we'll see where 24 takes us.
You're the Mike Power canary in the coal mine. You're the only guy out there throwing consistent Mike Power stuff out there, which needs to happen. And there needs to be more Mike Power. I know.
Well, I'm kind of hoping that the little Mike Power stories I'm doing kind of becomes the not the gold standard, but it's like, hey, that's really cool. He's kind of like a $6 million man / James Bond kind of kind of theme I'm going for.
You kind of consider him kind of to be the flagship of your channel, like that's kind of like your favorite character and favorite. You know what I'm saying? Like he's like your. Everybody seems like they've got a kind of like a flagship character. Cody's got his Sarge.
Yeah.
And everybody's got a guy. Mike Power, it seems like that's something you're really, really into and you really love doing.
I would say that is, because I know back last year when we did the Quantum Conspiracy.
Yep.
I did that custom Mike Power with the beard and everything, and he worked out really well. And again, that was your idea about Mike Power fighting Nazis in South America.
You got a loose end to tie up in that too, right?
Dude, I have so many loose ends.
You do.
I got a list this long of loose ends.
I think almost all your photo stories end in a cliffhanger, right? So you can just keep going. You're like,
they do. They do.
That's so awesome because you're like, shit, is there gonna be a part 2? And now you've got to do a part 2 at some point, And
I know.
That's why that's the best part about these is that
it's a two-edged sword. It's like, okay, I did a cliffhanger. No, shit, I got to come up with a cliffhanger. I got to come up with the story.
Yeah. There's so much to do in so little time. My biggest issue right now is, during COVID, I had all the free time in the world to do stuff, but as you know, everything opened up, and now as my son gets older, I have less time to spend doing this type of stuff, and I'm in kind of a, you get in kind of a, you got to make a decision, right? You got to, you know, he likes to do stuff with me, like GI Joe stuff. Like this evening, we played GI Joe outside. It was a really nice day. It's like mid-50s here, so we played GI Joe outside for a couple hours when he got out of school, and so I spend my time doing that. And he loves to be on video, but I don't want him to be on video a lot. You know, I'm one of those people like, don't want him to be there, but he wants to come down, and I'm just like, I don't really want to do that. And Dad's down making videos, and he wants to jump down here and see what's going on because he finds all you guys really, really interesting because he loves meeting new people. And so I got that time issue going right now. And then I have so much stuff I want to do, but I have to pick and choose what to do. You know, it's kind of,
well, you have to pick your battles. I mean,
yeah. And I want to get back into doing more photo stories because I really enjoy doing those. So I've got 2 of those. You and I've talked. I've got 2 planned for this year, and then you and I have already started talking about doing another one,
yes.
another. And I think it's going to be cool once we get all the details ironed out.
It's going to be super dope. Super dope.
Yeah, and you know, it's just these are good problems to have.
Yes,
hobbies
they are good problems to have.
Good problems to have because
there's nothing better than putting a bunch of stress on you because now we have to outdo the Time Phantom.
Yeah, and then also now we've got everybody's got a live stream we love being on.
Yeah,
these are all fun to sit and just talk to people, which is great.
I love the one-on-one.
I do too. I do too. I really like one-on-one stuff. I just think it's easy just to sit and riff off each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got a few of those. I got a few more I want to do this year. I know Robert from MaxSog, when he gets done it, he's at Designer Con right now, showcasing his really cool new robots he's doing. I know
Robert's awesome.
We're gonna hook up.
He does some amazing work.
Yeah, we're gonna hook up after he gets back from that. Hopefully after the first of the year, and I'm gonna do a live stream with him. I've got some other people that from outside of our hobby I'm going to reach out to and possibly get on here because they've got some really cool, interesting stuff that they do. But yeah, man, I just think that what we all have going here with the Axis of Awesome is really, really special. And I just think we just need to keep that sail up, keep sailing into the freaking unknown, man. I think we're all,
well, you're right.
Great.
And I was so happy that, that Pat and Tom, that they participated. It's funny because I don't want Tom to get mad at me. But, I asked Tom to do some voices for me, and I couldn't get a hold of him.
Yep.
I call him, I text him, and we used to talk all the time. It's like, man, did he do that big pond jump and didn't make it? It's like, Tom, where are you, man? And I was running out of time. So, and I asked Pat to do, Super Joe.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, not Super Joe, Superman.
Yep.
And he did. I mean, he I asked him, and in 30 minutes, he sent me the audio clips. And then I asked you, I said, hey, can you do Super Joe?
Yep.
And, within 30 minutes, boom, you sent him to me. And Jeff, the next day, Tom sent me, hey, I got your voice clips ready. And he sent them to me. And I used his instead of yours.
Yep. And it sounded way better than me. I'll tell you right now, it sounded way better than my stuff.
Well, they were all good. But, I love Tom has got such a unique voice.
He does.
And I love it. It's kind of campy.
Yep.
It's kind of, it's got that game show host kind of feel to him.
Yep.
But I thought, you know what? If I don't use Tom's clips, he's going to be heartbroken, and he'll never speak to me again. So, I asked him first, so I had to use his voices. But it all worked out great.
Yeah, it worked out great. It's funny that you bring Tom up. So when you and I first talked, and we got everything kind of in place how we're going to do this. Tom has been asking me forever, if you ever need help with one of these photo stories, let me know. And I have made countless ones and never asked him. And I said, oh, I've got a perfect thing for Tom. I texted him, and then I gave him my whole idea for that F-19 stealth fighter. Now, we went back and forth for probably 2 or 3 days on what we were going to do. And I said, all right, you go ahead and make that part. And I don't know if he was, I'm not sure what happened to him this summer, what Tom had going on, if he had writer's block or just, I don't know. But he felt so terrible that he couldn't get it all done. And I'm like, dude, don't worry about it. Just send me what you have. And what he had was basically everything I had for that F-19. And then I did the dialogue and had him record that. Then I used a voice modulator to make his voice sound deeper because I wanted kind of a more, manly voice for the commander. Not saying Tom doesn't have a manly voice. I wanted like a, yeah. And he did that whole F-19 basically, except for the Pentagon part with the commander and those guys. And it turned out great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he does such awesome. For those of you guys watching that aren't familiar with Spider Monkey Film and Tom Hansen, Tom, he's funny as shit. I mean, he's
a funny
comedian.
person I know.
His freaking Christmas video, it came out a couple days ago, was completely ludicrous, hilarious. I mean, it's so brilliant. It's like brilliant. Like Pat always says it's the best show on the internet. He's probably right. It's just so over the top brilliant. And I think he's so hard on himself. And I'm like, dude, just go with it. He does such an amazing job. And I told him when he texted me after this recent one, I said, stay by the phone because I'm probably going to need you to do some more voiceovers at some period of time. And I totally will because he's just so good at stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a savant.
First of all, he has the right voice. It's
for sure.
I mean, he needs to be in Hollywood. He's got that kind of voice.
Yeah.
His stop motion is fantastic.
Yep.
He's got a sense of humor that is so irreverent and kooky and wacky.
Oh,
it's like, if you guys are ever familiar with Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
What Tom's channel is, but it's a million times better. Tom should have 10,000 subscribers. Tom
will be a perfect voice for South Park.
Oh, absolutely.
A character in South Park. Like he could be the most.
He could voice everybody in South Park.
Yeah, he could. He's so funny. So Tom, if you're gonna watch this, get off the recliner, get out there and start making content because you're too good to be sitting on the sidelines.
And I have a Cotswold head sculpt that looks just like him.
That head sculpt looks just like Tom Hansen.
Yes.
Unbelievable. And then how about Cody? Poplox 4583 comes out of the Winter Soldier came out of nowhere.
Yes.
And dropped some photos this week. I'm like, who's this guy?
I know. I know. So where's this guy been? I know he's been busy. I'm thinking, Jeff, that with our collaboration, the photo story, and we're bringing on the original members of the AOA to help. I think that has kind of lit a fire under the original members of AOA, and I think it kind of motivated them to get back into the game, which I am thrilled about because I missed all you guys.
I do too. And you know what I would love to do, and I'll throw this out there for all the guys who are watching. I don't know what year we could do it because I know we're all strapped for time, but wouldn't it be amazing if we had everybody in the AOA, all the original members, each do a photo story that all ties together into one giant epic photo story? Like
everybody do like a 3 or 4 minute.
The Avengers of Awesome.
Yes.
The Avengers of Awesome or the Awesome Avengers. And wouldn't that be like the freaking cherry on top of a group of just numbskulls that came together, 3 years ago out of the ether and formed this really cool, tight-knit group of dudes. And we could do that. I would love to do that. and get everybody together and make something like that happen. I think it would be great because I think we're all creative in our own ways, and we could easily. It'd be a great challenge too. Like we did the Traveling Joe project. Instead of a Traveling Joe, we each have to make a photo story that follows the other.
Yes.
You
It's
know, like how
almost
great would
like,
that
you know,
be?
the old Stephen King movie Cat's Eye.
Yeah, Cat's Eye. Yeah, the old. It's like an anthology series.
But
Yep,
they're
but it
all
all
kind of
connect.
different
It all
stories, but they
interconnected.
all tie together.
Right. Yep.
And that would be, you know, not only is that an excellent idea, I want to do it. And
Yeah,
I
I
think
think we should definitely
everybody
do that.
maybe, what do you think? Maybe they do like a 3-4 minute
Yeah,
little
it would.
movie and we
Yeah,
mesh them together. It'd be awesome.
it wouldn't have to be anything super special. It would just have to be something where we each. You remember that series on MTV called Aeon Flu?
Yes.
Had the weird chick with the weird, weird boobs.
Yep.
It'd be like that. You got just each like a 5-minute short that all tells a story.
Yeah.
And then when we're all done, we can send it to one of us, and we all combine it at the end of the year and release a full film. And then we have like a live stream where we're all on here and we all hang out and we all talk about it. And that'd be like the Avengers of Awesome.
I think it's awesome. And like, have all the movies are different. You know, you do your own thing. You get your own style, but have one common denominator.
Yeah.
That
one common thing in the
together.
story. Yeah, one
awesome.
common thing in the story. And that would be something I think would be super, super cool mic drop for all of us.
Yep.
And it wouldn't have to. I mean, even I know some of those guys we're all pressed for time, so we could just do it. We could do it over the course of like 18 months. I don't care.
I'm gonna go ahead and say, Tom, don't freak out.
Tom just ran to the bathroom and he's like popping Tums. He's like, "Oh my god!"
Okay. Speaking of Tom, the other Tom, I know we dedicated to Major Tom. I want to give a shout out to his wife Jen. She's been super cool and has sent us stuff that Tom wanted us to have. We miss him. He's a great guy, and he had a great sense of humor and did great stop motion too.
Awesome. Yep. And I think it's that age group. Those guys had a great sense of humor. Tom had a really good sense of humor, generous, kind, funny.
Yep.
And it's just like, it's never good when stuff like that happens, but it does happen. And unfortunately, it happens a lot more now than what it used to, or it seems to me, like with people I know who are getting there up in there in age or having problems. And it's a tough thing when it happens. But I think the best part is that you remember those guys and you give them the love and props that they deserve. And you just always have them, right here in your heart. Think about him because he's one of the original guys, man. And,
and it's very fitting that he will always be there because it's his voice that says Axis of Awesome.
Yep.
So, that's, I'll never change that. I'll always keep that. Just that'll be just in memories of him, It's pretty cool that he did that, and he'll be here forever.
That's who our group is, dude.
Oh, absolutely.
We are a great group, and I really, really feel fortunate that we all know each other and we all came together. And I really love, we're bringing in more people who are really cool. I love Largo. Largo's a good dude, man. I love Will.
Yeah.
Even people that really haven't kind of jumped in and became whatever the hell we are. There's a lot of really good creators out there that have really big hearts and are cool dudes. And those are the people that you want in your foxhole in this community, right? You want people that help build the ship, not people that tear the ship down.
Oh, absolutely.
And like I say this, and forgive me if I say this so much, but a rising tide raises all ships, right? And I always say this. I said this the other night. We're with the Axis of Awesome. You're only doing as well as the channel that's not doing well in your group. So
Right.
it's in your best interest to bring attention to the really cool people who maybe are just starting the channel, or people that don't have a lot of followers, and say, hey, check this dude out because this dude's cool, and get these guys build up, because we want to have a giant community of people doing well,
Yeah.
and people that are happy and love to create content and love to share their content with everybody else. We don't want negativity. We want that tide to raise everybody up, and we're all sailing together, sailing together. And
Right.
for a lot of these people whose channels, like who's ever watching this, if you don't follow Elite Action Joe, follow him. If you don't follow Filmaholic, follow him. If you don't follow Action Figures right now, follow him. Sergeant Soldier, follow him. Largo's Lair, you definitely should be following him, because just on the production value alone, and the fact the guy lives in Guatemala and he's fighting all sorts of technical issues, follow him. Wilhelm, follow him. Whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, follow these guys. You'd be way better following him.
Love Brian.
Yep. G.I. Joe Lost Chronicles, follow him. And anybody that wants to come on my live stream and talk to me and tell me about what's going on with them, reach out to me via email, and we can set something up, and I'll get on here and let you talk, because, I love to talk to people. It's great.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Oh, and when I'm thinking about it, a big shout out to Cody at Pop Rocks 45.3.
Yep.
I got your package you sent me today. That was super fast. I got some cool stuff heading your way, and and that's another great thing about our community. I'm building a mic power from parts that Pat sent me, and I needed an arm, and I just text you guys, hey, does anybody have a spare one? And Cody, right out of the box, yeah, I think I've got some. And dude,
he did. He did. So while we're here, we got a pretty decent amount of people on here. If anybody wants to throw some questions out here real quick to Adam and I and ask us, I know Jim said, do we all have a roster for the AOA channels? I know Paul Knapp has at one time kept a lot of addresses of people who are in the AOA, but I don't know if we have a roster for channels, Jim, and we probably should figure that out. Maybe I'll go and figure that out, kind of. Somebody else would help me.
Didn't Logic Blaster do one?
He might have. He might have. That guy's elusive. I reached out to him the other day. I'm trying to get him to come on the live stream. He doesn't have to do a live stream. I told him we could just do like a pre-recorded thing, like kind of Jim does now. But
he doesn't like me to drop his name, so I'm not going to drop his name. But he's a real good guy.
He is a good guy. I just call him Logic Blaster. He's super good. Great channel. Guy pumps out a shitload of videos that are awesome.
Yeah.
By the way, his video of the Star Wars Mandalorian, Naboo Starfighter is really good. I really enjoyed that. He makes a lot of really cool stuff. He's a cool dude.
He puts out a ton of videos.
Yeah, I'd love to have him on a live stream. I don't know if I'll ever be able to get him on a live stream, but I'm trying to get Tom Hansen on here too, but he says his internet's terrible. I'm like, are you kidding me? I live in freaking the boonies, bro. I live in like a town of 8,000 people, and we got great internet. So I don't know what happened. We must have, maybe we sold our soul.
Yeah, we live around here around a bunch of cactus, and I got good Wi-Fi.
We got Bjorn Jorgensen. I think I pronounced that hopefully right. He just we just followed each other on Instagram recently. How do I feel about tigers? How do you feel about tigers, Adam?
Like the animal tigers?
Yeah, sure.
Love tigers.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
I personally think they're pretty cool. They're definitely cool to look at. I saw my first live tiger a couple years ago at a zoo in Omaha, Nebraska. It was pretty big, pretty wild looking. I literally hate the Cincinnati Bengals football team, so then I'm torn by that. But my high school alma mater is the Paris Tigers, so Tigers they're okay to me, Okay, we go.
Tigers are cool. Top of the food chain.
Andy and Andy would like to know, Adam, how deep is the TLC bunker?
Pretty deep. Pretty deep.
That's one of the best. Your TLC bunker is one of the best freaking catch lines of all time, dude.
And I don't even know how I don't even know how I even came up with that. It just came out one day, and it's like that's kind of catchy.
Oh, dude, and
Doing that.
I remember I was laying in bed one night watching one of your videos, and you got the vinyl banner made.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh shit, Adam's got a freaking banner made for his damn channel." I said, gosh dang, man, I just love it. Deep in the TLC bunker. It's freaking the Lost Chronicles. That was brilliant, dude.
But yeah, it's pretty deep.
Soldier says, Adam, just a comment, but the Time Phantom really reminded me of the first time I saw the heavy metal movie.
That's what I was going for.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's a really good compliment. Pat's got a good question. So I'll let you go first on this one. It says, how do you feel about Hasbro laying off 2,000 people?
Hasbro can eat a bowl of dicks.
Yeah, that's pretty substantial. You know, that's pretty blunt. You know, the thing about Hasbro,
not little ones, big ones.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit the other night on Jim's show. There's a lot of guys that have a really nuanced view of it. You know, I think there's guys who go deep into it. There's guys that don't go deep into it, and everybody has an opinion on it. First off, it's sad for the people that got laid off. I think that should be anybody who comments on that. That should be if that's not the first thing out of your mouth. Like, damn, it sucks for the people that got laid off. Regardless,
and at Christmas, come on.
Regardless of how you feel about those people, those people might be the people who are on Twitter, who are the Twitter mob, saying terrible things. I get it. Sucks for them around Christmas. That's terrible. I also think that Hasbro has created their own demise in a way with their IP licenses and stuff. And there's people who are out there way smarter than me about financial stuff, who know more about stuff like that than I do. But I kind of feel like for Hasbro, darker days are ahead for them. And it'll be interesting to see how they dig themselves out of it. And I don't know if they're going to be the same. I don't know if they'll ever go back to being the Hasbro that you and I remember as kids. I don't think they will, but there's a lot of companies that aren't the same companies as when we were kids. Like Disney's not the same company we were as kids. Mattel's not the same. None of them are. You know, we've heard this a million times in the last several years. Hard men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create hard times. Hasbro is a very, very good representation of that. They've created hard times for themselves. That's all I can really say for that. But
you know, all their troubles, all their woes are completely self-induced. Bad decisions, no vision, no respect for the past, or you know, I don't know. And it would be, to me, it would be so easy to turn it around. Just bring back the team.
Yep. Just bring back some type of G.I. Joe that can be a
bring back the collector club. That was awesome.
A uniter instead of a divider. A G.I. Joe line that's a uniter instead of a divider. That's my challenge to Hasbro. They don't watch my shit, but I don't want them to. Largo has a good one. Any other characters you two want to induct into the adventure team? He's adding a Jackie Chan and a Danger Girl to his really, really good AT-76 line.
Danger Girl's good.
Who have you got anybody that you're going to add to the adventure team?
Oh, you know, that is a good question. There's a few candidates. I'm not going to say anything right now, but I've got some. I think they would make really cool additions to the adventure team.
Yep.
But we'll leave it at that. I've got two
guys.
That would be cool.
Me too. I got two guys that are coming for a photo story coming up this year sometime. I'm hoping to have it done and released by July 4th. It's called, I'll tell you the name of it. It's called Project Armstark. And it is a follow-up to the Mike Power 0 Point storyline. and it
Awesome.
will be followed by a photo story this fall called Jungle of Death, which is a horror story, which is a follow-up to the Footsteps of Giants. In Armstark, you'll probably get 2 new members of my newly formed adventure team that I'm trying to put together of characters. So that's what I got. Adam said he's got some guys coming. Oh, here we go. Filmaholic has a good one. What were your thoughts about your first YouTube upload? You go first. I've been doing it a little longer than you.
I was
your first YouTube upload?
What was or how did I feel about it?
Both.
Well, my first upload was the Desert Devil encounter. It was a skinwalker. I was terrified. It's like didn't know what I was doing. Is this even going to upload? Is anybody going to see it? Is this all a waste of time? It's like
right on, man.
But it all turned out.
It turned out great. I mean, look where you're at now.
It's like night and day. It's like I feel like I have traveled 1,000 miles over broken glass.
You should be very proud of yourself. You've done a great job. My first upload was a mechanical hamburger elf. I think it was the painting elf back in sometime in maybe like September or October of 2019. I just put it on there to see if I could get some people to look at it. I don't know if I have a feeling about what I thought about it. I just did it, and then I did the other 4 elves after that. And the very first, I think I started doing what's in the shops. And the first ones were kind of choppy. Didn't really know what I was talking about. And then after that, I just started winging it. I haven't stopped since then. So I don't really go back and watch a lot of my old videos, probably like you. I don't really watch them. I just post them and usually ghost them. So I could always do better, I think, but I don't know if I ever will. But
I think that's the perfectionist in us. It's like, I want to do better. And that's like when you do a photo story, especially like one like the Time Phantom, when it takes so long to put it together, and when you're editing it, I have probably watched that thing probably 150 times.
Oh yeah,
from start to finish, because you're editing, and then eventually you're sick of it, and you're thinking,
you do,
and you're thinking, okay, this is garbage. Nobody is going to want to watch it. But then I got to remember, they're going to be seeing it for the first time.
Yep.
And I don't think it's cool. But yeah, it's like, and then when I finally do release one, all I see is the mistakes I made or the things that I should have done better. And I don't want that to rob my joy of
don't do it.
Making photo stories, which I don't. But for a split second, it's like, man, I should have done that, or I could have changed that, or that could have been a little bit better.
How pumped were you when you finally got to the point when you dropped at Infinity's Edge that night? Like, how pumped were you when you got it? You saw the countdown and then it started. Like, what did you feel like?
It was like waking up on Christmas morning. It was so exciting. I wanted everybody to see it like right now. But yeah, I was pumped, dude. I was so pumped, and I was excited. And I'm sitting there, people watching it, and then the views kept clicking up.
Oh yeah,
so it was awesome.
How many views are you at?
People are digging it.
Have you got 800 so far on that? Are you close? You were like 500 and some like this week.
I think I'm getting close to 600 views, which is pretty good for just 2 weeks.
That's
for
great.
Me, that's huge.
That's great. I mean, that thing is just. I think it blew up. It's freaking awesome. Your Logic Blaster always talks about your thumbnails. Your thumbnail looks amazing for that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it looks fucking great.
I know it's funny because I even talked to Jeff about it, because the original thumbnail was just a silhouetted version of Orbitron.
It was,
and it just said Time Phantom, and which was a great one. But then I made this one with a kiss on it, to me, which looked like a movie poster. And I really wanted to drop that one. And I asked Jeff, I said, if I do this, it's going to ruin the surprise. And he goes, no, you can't do it. You can't do it. So then once I released it, then I went back and I changed it. So
Roberto says, Adam, tell Jeff about the Lusca. I'd love to see you guys do an adventure about that cryptid.
Oh yeah, he was telling me about that down in is it down in Haiti or Jamaica, or Puerto Rico?
Yeah, he's from Puerto Rico, yeah, so it's probably Puerto Rico.
It's some kind of. Correct me if I'm wrong, Roberto. Is it some kind of like swamp creature? I remember you telling me about it. But yeah, that would be a very cool cryptid to do. You have to message me. I remember you telling me the story about it. I want to say maybe it had to do with a swamp, maybe. But that would be cool. I love anything cryptid.
You do. You are the cryptid master. Largo would like to see a follow-up for the Chupacabra. Largo has a good question. We'll hit up a couple more and then we'll try to wrap this up because we've been on this about an hour and a half now. I think it's a good time.
Yep.
So Largo says, if Hasbro gave us a 1/12 modern adventure team, would you be interested? You're out.
Out.
It really depends.
I want 1/6 scale.
You're in 1/6 scale, yeah. It really depends to me what they do. You know, because I never bought the 1/18 scale adventure team stuff that the Collector Club had.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I like 1/12 scale. But for me, I want 1/6 scale. For me personally.
Me too, because I just don't.
Because I'm like you, Jeff. I want something that I can make photo stories with, and I can't make photo stories with 1/12 scale.
Yeah, I can't either. I don't like the way they photograph. I'm not saying I know a lot of people make great photographs. Like I don't want people out there who are 1/12 or 1/18 people thinking I'm shitting on that because I'm really not. I like the realism of the clothing, and I know like I'll tell you what Largo, if Mezco Toys did a 1/12 adventure team with realistic clothes and gear.
Yes.
You might get me to just open the wallet up and maybe I might look like me back at the Diamond Cabaret in Las Vegas back in 2000, probably 2003. I'm just out there going, you know, I mean, I don't know. I would, if 3-0 did a 1/6 scale adventure team, I would be interested in that. And I think it would sell really well. So I don't know. I'm not really sure. Action Figures is like, are you shitting on me? Yeah, yes, I am, Ed. No,
I tell you, if like the Figures Toy Company came out with some 1/6 scale, adventure time figures, I'd be in with those.
Yeah. So Bjorn Jorgensen, he's doing a set of 1/18 scale adventure team figures using, I believe, if I'm correct, if I'm right, Bjorn, the Boss Fight Studios figures, maybe. Is it Boss Fight or Zika Toys? I can't remember if he's combining them all, but I followed him on Instagram and they look really good. I'm not a 1/18 scale. Maybe, yeah. I'm not a 1/18 scale guy. I know one of the guys on one of the really cool dudes on Largo's live stream the other night. He had a ton of 1/18 scale stuff, and he had the Black Spider Rendezvous Collector Club figure, which is really cool. But I got the original Black Spider Rendezvous. So, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Marauders. Largo's right. Marauders Gun Runners has some figures. Thanks, Largo, for correcting me, and thanks, Bjorn, for sharing this with me. I'll try to share those some more on Instagram. But yeah, man, I think and Filmaholic Greg, he was talking about he has some scripts made, but he says they're not good. I don't believe that. That guy's very talented. If he did a photo story, the way he's such a elite photographer, he could make a good one.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to tell everybody out there. Make photo stories with your figures. I think it's really however you do it, because don't leave them on the shelf.
Do what makes you happy. You know, don't try to copy us or think that you're not going to be as good as us. Everybody has great talents. Just go out and do it. Make do what makes you happy. Because
whatever you do, I'll promote it.
Me too.
As long as it's not illegal.
Or immoral.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's just It's a loaded deal. So anyways, man, we'll wrap this up. I had an awesome time talking to you tonight, man. It's always great when we get together and do stuff. We had a great time making the Revenge of Overtron and the Time Phantom, out of Fiddy's Edge. Of course, 0 Point was amazing too, and Quantum Conspiracy. I love it, dude. I love doing all my cool stuff with you. I love sharing the hobby with you. You're a super cool dude. You're a unique dude, and you are an absolute treasure. And Axis of Awesome is better with you in it rather than with you not in it. And I appreciate everything you do, Adam. Tell us where we can find you, what all you're doing before we get out of here.
You can find me at G.I. Joe: The Lost Chronicles. More photo stories, more custom work. I am continuing to do my Mego Mondays and just did Taylor. I just made him a custom backpack.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I got Captive. Yeah, it was funny. On this figure here, Taylor, what he came with, an accessory, was an ape rifle, which didn't fit. I thought a backpack would be a much better accessory. So I made that out of Millput.
Wow.
Sanded it super clean, crisp edges.
That was great.
I just Velcroed it, to his back. Painted it with a hammered silver paint.
Yeah, it's great paint.
Put a little American flag on it. And then I just used yellow zip ties to look like,
right on, brother. That looks great.
Anyway, there'll be more Mego Mondays. I enjoy doing those.
Love them.
But a lot of stuff. Stay tuned. 2024 is going to be a busy, crazy year.
2024 is going to be great. The Axis of Awesome is going to be great. You can find all of us everywhere. You can find me here, Skunkworks Studios, Adam, G.I. Joe: Lost Chronicles on his channel. He's also on Facebook and Instagram. You can find everybody in the chat. They all have their own individual pages on either Instagram or YouTube. Shout out to Paul Knapp, who is doing his live stream, having really, really cool, amazing guests every week. And guys, I know I'm going to speak for both Adam and I. I really appreciate everybody's support of us and our channel, and I appreciate it all. Keeps you and me going. And stay tuned for 2024, bros, because we got a couple dogs here who are going to just be kicking as much butt as we can, man.
It's going to be a bumpy ride.
All right, guys. Adam, do a TLC bunker promo, and I'll finish off.
This is Adam at G.I. Joe: The Lost Chronicles, deep in the TLC bunker.
Keep living the adventure, bros. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, guys. Enjoy
Later, guys.